Gerard Mackin, often associated with the notorious Kinahan cartel, has carved a fearsome reputation within the criminal underworld. His life, marked by a series of violent crimes and deep entanglements with one of the most powerful criminal organizations in Europe, presents a chilling account of the lengths individuals will go to exert power and influence. Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. Today we delve into the life and crimes of Gerard Mackin, exploring his background, his role within the Kinahan cartel, and the broader implications of his criminal activities. Gerard Mackin was born into a world where crime was a seemingly unavoidable part of life. Growing up in a tough environment, Mackin was exposed to violence and criminality from a young age. Mackin was born into a family where alcohol was rife, and the abuse of alcohol would lead to him making poor choices later in life. The socio-economic conditions of his upbringing, coupled with a lack of positive role models and opportunities, likely contributed to his descent into the criminal underworld. By the time he reached his teenage years, Mackin was already known to local authorities. His early criminal activities included petty theft, assault, and involvement in local gang disputes. These formative years set the stage for his later involvement with more serious organized criminal enterprises and paramilitary organizations. The Kinahan cartel, led by Christy Kinahan and his sons Daniel and Christopher Jr., has been one of the most prominent criminal organizations in Europe. The cartel is involved in a wide range of illegal activities, including drug trafficking, money laundering, and violent enforcement. Gerard Mackin's association with the Kinahan cartel marked a significant escalation in his criminal career. Mackin's exact role within the cartel has been the subject of much speculation and investigation. However, it is widely believed that he served as an enforcer, a role that involved carrying out violent acts to protect the cartel's interests and intimidate rivals. According to sources, Mackin also described himself as Daniel Kinahan's bodyguard and had gone to stay in both Spain and Dubai with the cartel boss. Mackin is closely associated with many other Kinahan killers. His friend Johnny Keogh is serving life for the murder of Gareth Hutch in Dublin in 2016, while another close pal, Eamon Cumberton, is also serving life for the killing of Michael Barr. Mackin's willingness to use extreme violence has made him one of the most feared figures in the criminal underworld. Until 2016, Mackin was a senior figure in the INLA, or Irish National Liberation Army, with a strong base in Limerick. He had been in a power struggle for the control of the INLA with other leaders, including Declan Wacker Duffy and Red Gar Byrne. But Mackin was considered too volatile to hold such a position, leading Mackin to break away and set up his own group, dubbed the New INLA, which included Johnny Keogh and Eamon Cumberton. Mackin was also an associate of another dissident paramilitary member, Fat Decky Smith, who was horrifically gunned down in Dublin in 2014 as he brought a child to a creche. He previously went on trial when he became the first person found guilty in a Dublin court for a murder in Belfast under a rarely used cross-border anti-terrorism law. He was found guilty in the Special Criminal Court of the murder of taxi driver Edward Burns in Belfast. In January 2011, Mackin's retrial for the murder of Edward Burns dramatically collapsed at the Special Criminal Court after the state entered a decision not to prosecute. The chief prosecution witness refused to give evidence at the trial after telling a Belfast High Court judge he was threatened that if he gave any evidence, he would be shot dead. Several of Mackin's supporters who were in court applauded and cheered while members of Edward Burns' family openly wept. That pattern of witness intimidation would continue in later trials involving Mackin. In July of 2013, another decision not to prosecute was entered against Mackin at the non-jury court on a charge of IRA membership and demanding money with menaces on behalf of the INLA in County Monaghan. Gerard Mackin's criminal activities had not gone unnoticed by law enforcement, who suspected him of many serious crimes. However, his ability to evade long-term incarceration and continue his criminal activities speaks to the challenges faced by authorities in tackling organised crime. Perhaps Mackin's most notorious crime was the violent assault and extortion of Dan Quilligan. Quilligan arrived at a house in a white van driven by a friend. They had been directed there by Patrick Hayes, the other man involved in the assault with Mackin, and someone known to Quilligan. The two men came through the back garden into the kitchen. A group of men were waiting, and Quilligan and his friend were immediately set upon. Quilligan was put in a chair in the middle of the kitchen and assaulted. His right shoe was removed and a nail gun was used. His left foot was nailed to the floor before the assailants left the house. Quilligan freed his left foot from the floor, got into his friend's van, and went to the regional hospital. CCTV footage showed Mackin's car in the vicinity on the date and time of the assault. It was the prosecution's case that the assault was pre-planned and a joint enterprise. Mackin's associate Patrick Hayes was formerly employed in the Defence Forces from 1980 to 1986. He was discharged after a robbery and assault conviction. Mackin pleaded guilty to the depraved and barbaric assault and was jailed for 3 years in 2017. In 2018, Mackin emerged from the Castlereagh prison after serving his time, during which he was said to be a model prisoner, despite suspicions of drug dealing while in jail. Mackin relocated to Spain in 2021, intending to make a fresh start after finding employment with a construction company. His past would come back to haunt him when a European arrest warrant was issued for a 2019 offence. He was extradited from Alicante in Spain, and in court pleaded guilty to laundering the proceeds of criminal behaviour. Police on patrol had observed an Opel Insignia car suspiciously parked outside Mackin's house on April 17th of 2019. The driver was searched and found to have €4,780 in cash, an Aquarius phone and an iPhone, wrapped in bubble wrap and tied together with elastic bands. The Aquarius phone was capable of encryption and favoured by criminals. Upon seeing the police, Mackin came outside and answered their questions regarding the money, claiming it was his. Mackin gave several inconsistent answers when officially questioned about the money and phones, and at trial, the prosecution referenced Mackin's assault conviction and painted a broader picture of criminality. The court accepted that although the amount of money recovered was a small part of a larger jigsaw, and that Mackin was undoubtedly involved in larger-scale crime, Mackin would be sentenced to 4 years and 8 months for the offence. He claims that he will return to Spain upon his release from prison and intends to lead a quiet life with his family. Gerard Mackin has led a life of criminality and violence, but has only been incarcerated for short periods, having had a number of cases against him thrown out due to witness intimidation. His return to Spain after his most recent stay in prison may well be a chance for redemption, but it may also be the perfect location to connect with many other Irish criminals located there and re-energise his life of crime. Thank you for joining us today on Crime Chronicles. We'd love to hear if you think Gerard Mackin will go straight or continue his life of crime once he leaves prison. Comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the channel with your friends.